Do you struggle with info overload and shiny object syndrome? Are you struggling to make it work online so that you can make money with affiliate marketing? But you sit there and you watch video after video, webinar after webinar, getting more confused than ever before. And maybe you're one of those people who buys all sorts of different programs and products and things to try to help you learn this business and learn to make money online. And you feel like that next thing is going to get you where you need to go. Well, I got to tell you, you are not alone in your struggle. There are lots of people that I've coached over the years, and I found that there are two very common symptoms that people have when dealing with information marketing, dealing with affiliate marketing, and trying to just make money online. The first one is shiny object syndrome. Excuse me, shiny object syndrome. Shiny object syndrome is, as characterized by Wikipedia, I don't know if it's a disease or not, but it says it's a disease of distraction, equivalent to a small child chasing after shiny objects. This is what happens when we go out there and we try to make a living online and we really don't know what to do, so everything looks good. Whether you hear about Facebook ads or you hear about Shopify or whatever it is you hear about, you kind of chase it and you're like, that's going to be the thing to get me where I want to go. And a lot of people have this syndrome where they hop from thing to thing to thing, hoping that the next thing that they land on is going to be the one thing that gets them from zero to success. Now, a lot of people that are looking at shiny object syndrome are not looking at the real cold, hard facts of business, the facts of what it takes to make this stuff work. And the fact of the matter is this: the same energy it takes to chase every shiny object is the same energy it takes to make a living online. It just needs to be directed in the right way. So in this call, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about how to direct your energy, how to start to understand what's going on in your mind, and understand what you need to do to get to that next step. Because we don't want to spend our entire life chasing something, chasing a dream, chasing what could be. We want to spend our life actually getting it. And the cool thing about this is that you could take little steps each and every day to get where you want to go. You don't have to do something big, but that's the problem. The problem is that everyone wants something big overnight. They want to wake up tomorrow morning with $10,000 in their affiliate account. They want to wake up tomorrow with everything done for them. And that is a problem because no one's going to do it for you. And in this business, I've had thousands of people ask me, Marcus, can I pay you to make me money? And that's not really a thing, right? You can't pay someone to make you money, just like you can't guaranteed invest in things. Sure, there's things you can do and there's things you can count on, but overall, you have to look at this as a business and you have to say, I am going to earn based on what I believe, based on what I go get, and based on what I do and how the market responds to it. Far too many people are struggling with shiny object syndrome because they don't want to wait for the results. And as my buddy Brian G always says, people quit before the magic happens. And had I quit before the magic happened years ago, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. I wouldn't have been successful. I wouldn't have been able to do the things that I've done. And had I looked at shiny object syndrome and said, oh, well, this is the key, this is the key, this is the key, which we're going to talk about, I wouldn't have been able to get anything done. Because what happens is there's so many distractions in life. There are distractions right now while you're watching this live stream. There are distractions going on of what you could do, what you could be, what you could earn, what you could get, and they're all distracting you from the core principle of the fact that affiliate marketing is actually a pretty simple business if you focus on it the right way. But the problem is that people don't focus on it the right way, and they don't have the patience to see it through, and they don't really have the belief that something's going to work. What they have is the lottery mentality. And the lottery mentality says, oh, if I just get one more thing, that's going to be the one. And what happens is people are focusing on something external. You're looking for something external to give you what you need, which is a financial life or security or money or whatever it is, rather than looking internal. But the truth is that it's internal. It's within you. You have the power to create the content and put it in front of the people that are going to make the decisions and get you money. Now, the problem with shiny object syndrome and information overload is that it really has nothing to do with shiny object syndrome, and it really has nothing to do with info overload. Because here's the deal. You can have info overload. And info overload is just an overload of options. I can do a million things. The problem is that people don't want to decide, because the minute you decide is the minute you're held accountable. When you decide, I'm going to do this, now you're held accountable, and if you don't do it, guess whose fault it is? It's your fault, or my fault, whoever's fault. And the problem is we're suffering from decision anxiety. That's the real truth of info overload, is that we're dealing with decision anxiety. We don't want to make a decision. We don't want to go out there and say, this is good. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to set this up. And we look at our life and we look at our options and we end up being lethargic and not doing anything. And so we chase the next high, the next feeling. And I know all about that, being a recovered alcoholic who chased the next feeling. And I realized with my alcohol addiction that the more I chased and the more I felt, the less I knew and the further back I was pushed. And we look at that and it's like, do you want to feel better or do you want to be better? Do you want to feel better or do you want to change your circumstances? Do you want that dream of holding the lottery ticket and saying, maybe I'll be that 1 out of 300 million today? Maybe. And you sit there with your lottery ticket and you dream about what you could do or who you'd be or what life would be like. And for a brief moment, you start to feel better. And the same thing happens online. You see something that looks good. Hey, this guy made $1 million with Facebook ads in 6 months. Wow, that looks great. And you see the tip of the iceberg and you start to dream about it and say, well, if that guy can, well, so can I. Why can't I do that? Why can't I get that? And he sells you a bill of goods that says, yeah, you can. And you know what? You probably can. But what's left out is the fact that there was hard work, there was struggle, there was trials, there was doubting, there was fear. But overall, he continued on the same course and got where he wanted to go. But the problem is we're looking for a feeling. And this is the big problem, because here's the deal. Money doesn't care who you are. It does not give a shit. People say, oh, well, money goes to those who provide value. Maybe, maybe not. There's a lot of people who do really crappy things and get lots of money. So that can't possibly be true. Or money goes to those who need it. We all know that's not true. Or maybe if I could just have money, I'd be a different kind of person. I'd be a good person. I'd do good with it. Maybe, maybe not. But the fact of the matter is we're looking at it as if there is an emotional component to money. And throughout our lives, we have been trained that money is attached to feeling. Money is attached to guilt and pain and pleasure and desire and want and lack and abundance. And the only difference between you and someone with a lot of money is a bunch of numbers in a freaking bank account. That's the only difference. So what we have to do is we have to look at this, we have to take the emotions out of it, and we have to say, well, let's track what's going on online. Let's see what's happening. Let's see what we need to do. And when you reverse engineer that and you look at it and you say, okay, well, I'm not going to get info overload. What I'm going to do is I'm going to look at what works. I'm going to look at what people are doing. Excuse me. Still got my asthma. I'm going to look at what I'm doing, and I'm going to look at where money goes, and I'm going to focus. Now, information overload is known as the infobesity, where you eat too much information and you can't make a decision. Information anxiety, information explosion. It's the difficulty understanding an issue and effectively making decisions when one has too much information about that issue. Now, the big thing about information overload is the key is that information overload comes from the lack of making a decision. Okay, that's all it is. If you feel overwhelmed with information, you don't have a decision, right? You haven't made a decision, and mostly because of fear. So like if I sit here and I have a decision to invest in a bunch of different things, and I'm like, okay, I can invest in this, 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 and this, and I've done my research and I look at things and I'm like, okay, this could work, right? I can look at that and I can get overwhelmed and I can go find other things that might work, or I can look at what I have on the table and I look at my cards and I say, maybe I'm looking at affiliate marketing, drop shipping, Facebook, Shopify, whatever. And I'm looking and I'm looking at these things and I'm like, okay, I'm scared. And I don't know what to do. And I don't know what's going to work. And maybe I want something guaranteed, right? Everyone in life is looking for a guarantee, but there really are no guarantees in life. I don't even know if I'm going to make it through this call. I don't know if I'm going to make it through the day. I don't know what's going to happen. But the fact of the matter is we can go and we can do what we want, even though there's odds, even though there's things that could happen, right? And we need to focus and we need to look at this because right now you have the information. Like Brian says, he has analysis paralysis. What are you analyzing, right? There is no real reason. Like when I first started almost 20 years ago, right, I looked at it and I was like, okay, I don't have a lot of money, but I know I could get free traffic on the internet. And if I could get free traffic on the internet, I could probably sell some stuff. I was like, okay, good. I'm going to focus on free traffic. And then what I did is I focused on traffic that I knew would work for a specific offer, right? And there was a lot of things, like maybe I didn't know how to set up a website or upload it or download it or WordPress or whatever. But I figured it out as I went along because I had that decision. Once you have the decision and you say, this is the direction I'm going, that is the key. And that is the real problem. All right, so it's not about shiny object syndrome. It's not about info overload. It's about you can't decide. You can't look at it and say, I am willing to put my money where my mouth is and go and do something that I know will work. I know it'll work if you do it because the logic is there. It might not work exactly as planned. I might not be a millionaire overnight, but I can do something. I can take a step in the right direction. And the problem here is lack of direction. And I get it. I understand. This is a launch calendar. This is a calendar the internet marketers look at for launches that are coming up. And there's a lot. I mean, look at this on September 11, 12, 17, 19, on and on we go. There's a lot of launches. And this doesn't even include all of them, right? There are literally thousands, maybe even millions of product launches going on every single year. In the internet marketing space, there's absolutely thousands of them all the time. And we got to look at it and say, well, what is it, right? What is it? What do I need? And a lot of times we're going to look at this stuff and we're going to say, that sounds good, right? Easy traffic. That sounds good. I'd like to get easy traffic. Or maybe multiply your money. Yeah, I'd like to multiply my money. Or amazing selling and things like that. And we look at this. And a lot of products are actually pretty good. A lot of things are good. A lot of things you can learn from. A lot of them are also like absolute shit. But we have to look at it not in terms of the product solving our big problem or our info overload. We have to look at it as decision making. Because if I have a decision and I say, what I want to do is this specific niche, what I want to do is this specific product or offer, this is what I want to do, then I can go in there and be like, well, does it have to do with Amazon? Oh, yeah, okay, well, let's pick up this Amazon course if it does. Or does it have to do with, funnels or product launches? Well, then maybe I'll get a product about that instead of just looking at a product to solve a problem that you don't even know you have, a problem that you don't even know exists. And it's a problem that's deeper, and it's decision anxiety. It's the anxiety of making a decision and making the wrong one. But we got to look at that and we got to say, well, who cares if I make the wrong decision, right? If I make the wrong decision, so what? I'll start over. Big deal. People start over all the time. It's not that big of a deal. But we got to look at this and we got to look at what's going to change it. Because when we look at products and we look at making money online, it tends to be all about the technique or the tools and not about the why. If you get a technique or a tool, like say years ago when I first started, I learned a really good tactic that I still use today about how to get traffic. Right? It's cool. It's like, hey, I learned this tactic about getting traffic, and now I can get traffic whenever I want, and I can make money whenever I want. Yay, go, awesome, great. But had I looked at that and I said, well, this is the solution. Traffic is everything, and I need to learn this. Then I wouldn't have seen the whole picture, because you need to know why you're going to get traffic in the first place. You need to know how traffic works, and you need to see exactly why these things work. Because if you don't understand why they work, you're never going to be able to do the how. Right? If you don't understand why people respond to certain things, if you don't understand why your video goes to the top of the search or your article goes to the top of the search or people share a content, if you don't understand why that happens, you're not going to get anywhere. You might make some money on a tactic or whatever, maybe, if you're like 1 in 100 million. But if you focus on the why, then you'll be able to understand it and you'll never be without a job because you'll understand how all this stuff works. Now, a lot of things you'll see out there are really, really exciting. Automatic content money, easy Facebook ads, super free traffic without the work, outsourcing, get someone else to do it for you, super easy click profits. automatic push button money out of your ass system. Blah, 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 blah. Only $27, $47, just $77. We only have 19 copies left for the next 5,000 people who order. Just 3 clicks will make you rich. Well, it takes more than 3 clicks to order your damn product, so I guess that kind of went out the window. And the sad part is it isn't even about your money. Falling into a lot of these things isn't just about your money, because we can always get more money, but they're slowly robbing you of something more important than your money. And this is really, really where the rubber meets the road, because every time you buy a product thinking that it's going to be that next big thing, thinking that's going to be the shiny object that outshines them all, like your Smeagol hidden in a cave with your golden precious ring that's going to solve all your problems, but really doesn't. What it's doing is it's slowly making you like Smeagol, and you're withering away, and you're losing your time and your belief in yourself that you can do it. Because every time you try something and it doesn't work, you lose faith in yourself. And you lose your belief in making money online and your belief that this will work for you. And a lot of times, we look at this and people come to me and they're like, Marcus, I've tried everything, so it must not work. And the fact of the matter is you really haven't tried everything. You really don't even know what everything is, so you really couldn't say you've tried everything. You can't say you've got all the products because you really haven't. You might have tried a few things, but maybe not all the way. Or worse yet, you say, well, maybe I'm not good at it. Maybe it's just me. But the fact of the matter is this. If you did as much actual work online, like real work providing value to the marketplace, as you do hunting for the next big secret and buying it, then you'd probably be making money by now. It's not that hard. It just takes deliberate direction. And it's funny to me because sometimes I have some customers that get angry at my products for whatever reason, right? I'm not perfect, and sometimes they're not either. But we look at it, and they get angry, and they're like, Marcus, I'm going to go out there, and I'm going to make a bunch of reviews that are bad about you, and I'm going to post them everywhere online. And I always have this thought to myself, because I'm like, hey, we try to help you, so doing bad reviews isn't really good, because, it's not going to help anyone, and we're here to help you. But they threaten to go do that, and I always look in my brain, and I say, if you have the energy and the wherewithal and the knowledge to post bad reviews online about a product that's actually good, then why don't you take that energy and use it to do what I taught you and make money? Because it's the same principle. It's the same exact thing. And what people don't realize is that it's very, very simple and it's very easy to do. You just have to do it. You just have to go out there and you have to continue and you have to be on the path. And it always makes me laugh because people are always hung up on money. They're always hung up on what they invest in something, and they're not committed to the result. They're more worried about how much I spent than how much I can make. And I'll tell you a little secret about me. I'm one of those people I'm not a money saver. Like, I don't go across town to save $4 on something at the Walmart. And I get it. Some people like to do that. Some people need to do that. But for me, I look at it and I say, well, if I go drive for 30 minutes, what's that going to cost me in terms of my business? How much could I make if I really took that 30 minutes and actually did something? $1,000? $2,000? Disclaimer, results not typical or implied or guaranteed. We don't know what you're going to make. I've been doing this 20 years. I got products. I can make money pretty quick. And you can too. You just need to get your footing correct. But how much is it going to be worth to you? And when you look at it and you're like investing in something, maybe you're looking at investing in a high-ticket niche and you're like, man, $1,277, I could buy a new TV for that. Or I could, fix the car or whatever, right? And we look at it in terms of spending and loss rather than gain. And when I look at things, I always look at gain. And there's been times I've invested in things that are pretty expensive. And I always look at the gain and I say to myself, well, what if I could do part of that? And I remember one year when we were having a hard year and I was trying to transition into a new business. And I bought this course. And I remember this course was out there. It's a $2,000 course. And I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to do it. I mean, it's probably not that good business. It's probably not that good financially sense to do that at the moment. But I did it because I was like, well, if this guy can show me, which I think he can because I've learned already, That's a key. Make sure someone teaches you before you buy. Make sure you know what's going on before you buy something. Then I think it could work. And I remember before I even got the course, the guy sent me this PDF report, and he's like, follow this report while you wait for your course. And I followed the report, and I was like, maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. And I ended up making about $70,000 in sales because of the one report. And I look at it, and I always looked at it as, what can I gain? When I invest $2,000, what am I going to gain? What am I going to get? Right? Far too many people look at what they're going to lose. I'm going to lose $2,000. Well, you win some, you lose some, but what are you going to do with what you know? And we got to really focus on that, and we got to get our mindset away from the job mindset. The job mindset is the scarcity mindset, and unfortunately, it's the mindset that says, you know what? Making money is in direct proportion to the hours that you work. If I go to work for 8 hours, then we got to focus on it, right? And we got to focus, and we got to look at that and say, well, that's not really the case. Because with internet marketing, you're paid in direct proportion to what value you provide and how many people see it, right? You could make the most valuable website on the internet, and if no one sees it, then it doesn't matter. So we got to look at that. So it's all about having the money mindset and knowing where to go. You have to have that mindset, and you have to say, I'm going to invest in myself. I'm going to make a change. I'm going to make a difference, and I'm going to make a decision. Now, I got to let you know, excuse me, that belief creates action. Now, the big thing here is that you need to believe that things are going to work. If you believe that every new website you put online would make $500 a year, how many would you make? Right? If you were like, okay, Marcus is going to show me how to make a website, and, maybe I'll make 500 a year. Maybe I'll make more. Maybe I'll make less. But if you knew that everything you did, every site you put up would average $500 a year, how many sites would you make? Right? Put your answers in the box. Right, and you look at it and you're like, $500 a year, Marcus, that's like $1.50 a day. Reminds me of Napoleon Dynamite. That's like $1 an hour. Gosh. And we got to look at it because so many people are not focused on the right thing. They're not focused on, hey, if I could build these things and get them to make me money over and over and over again, then I could grow. Right, and we focus on this and we have to say, well, what if I could do this? And to a lot of people, it's like, hey, maybe that's one sale or 3 sales. Could you make 3 sales? That's a sale every 120 days, right? I think you probably could if you did it right. I mean, how could it not? And so you got to look at this and you have to say, this is what I want to do. So if you knew every site would make you $500 a year, you'd bust your ass like super worker disco guy up there, right? And so let's go back to my story, okay? Back in the year 2001, I was doing magic. I was having fun and doing website stuff on the side. And then we got pregnant. And I was like, man, I really can't live on magic salary. I mean, I was doing okay. I was making like $3,000 or $4,000 a month. But, in Southern California, $3,000 to $4,000 a month is not much at all. At all. Not even close to much at all. And so people told me, Marcus, the internet thing's cute and all, but you should probably get a real job. Stop messing around. Get a real job. And people laughed at me and they said, I don't think this is going to work. I think you're stupid. I think you're going to, ruin your family and everything like that. And you should go get a regular job. And at that time, I was a computer salesman sometimes as well. And, I could make a couple $1,000s a month selling computers. But I remember that when I started this business and I bought my first domain name, the domain I still have today, PCmoneymaking.com. I remember when I bought that, people laughed at me and they were like, you know what? You're never going to make it, Marcus. This isn't going to work. And they tried to talk me out of my dream, but I knew it would work. I was like, well, I know there's a way to make a living online. I know this is new, and I know there's something to do here. I know that I just need to focus. And people tried to rain on my parade. They tried to put that cloud over my head. And unfortunately, when I was sitting there and I was depressed, I started to believe it. I started to believe the stuff. I started to believe that, you know what, maybe it's not me. And I tried different things, and I was looking at it, and I got some successes. But overall, I knew it would work, but I started to get depressed, and I thought of bankruptcy at the age of 22. I went to mental health care professionals because they said I needed help. And this was a tragedy because they almost took my dream. I had this dream, and I was like, my goal back then was I want to make $100,000 a year on the internet. right? And that was my goal back then. And I think it worked out to about $274 a day. And at that time, $100,000 a year seemed really, really far away. I had never made $100,000 a year, so I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what it was going to be like, but I knew I had this goal, and I knew that if I could make that $100,000 a year, we'd probably be able to move out of the crappy place we were living, my brother's mobile home, which was like drug infested and terrible. Um, I knew I'd be able to like provide for my kids and my wife, and it was very difficult. And I almost let them take my dream away. And so what happened is I decided to move away and started my own world. I took a risk, and I said, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to do what I know will work because I see it work with other people. And it might not be exactly how I plan it. It might take a little bit more work, but I think if I get away and I just do this, we can get there. And the problem with this is that someone once told you when you were young, right? When we're young, when we're kids, people say, I believe in you and you could do whatever you want. Now, disclaimer, obviously we can't do whatever we want. Well, we can, we just have to be willing to pay the consequences. And so we were told this. And I remember as a kid, I believed, hey, the sky's the limit. I could do whatever I want. I could be a baseball player, a basketball player. One time I wanted to be a basketball player, and at 5'1", I would probably be the shortest guy ever in the NBA, and I absolutely suck at basketball. But hey, 9-year-olds can dream, right? But I remember believing that I could do whatever I wanted to do, and that nothing was in my way, and I could live, and I could love, and I could dream. And I remember believing that. And somewhere along the line, reality sets in, and people take that belief away. And they say, you know what, you shouldn't believe that. You need to be practical. You need to focus. And you need to do the safe thing. Right? And I know a lot of people who do the safe thing, and they're freaking miserable. The safe thing isn't always what's best for us. And by safe, I mean starting your own business would be a risk, right? There's risk to everything. But I want to extend an invitation to you and tell you that it is your turn to believe that again. It's your turn to look at it and say, I can do this. I can. The odds are in my favor if I go out there and I do it. I can do what I need to do. I don't need to look at shiny objects. I don't need to focus on info overload. I can be, do, and think and feel however I want. And get a little bit of that dream back because it gets lost. And here's the deal. When I set out and I was like, I'm going to get my dream back. I'm going to focus on what really works. I had this idea of making $100,000 a year on the internet, and I realized that life throws curveballs. It's inevitable. I still get them too. I'm actually going through a pretty big curveball right now. But I'm doing what I love, and I'm doing what I believe will help people. And in addition to my lifestyle, that feels pretty good. And I look at that, and I'm like, when I set out and I was like, I'm going to make $100,000 a year, I remember that goal seems so far away. It's like, wow, how am I going to do that? I haven't even made $30,000 a year at my ripe young age of 21. How am I going to make 100? And I remember the first year I started to go full time with internet marketing, I made $67,000 a year, and I was like, wow, that's pretty good, right? It's better than $12,000 a year selling computers, or $20,000 a year doing magic. And then the second year, we actually hit $167,000, and I had hit my goal. And it wasn't like a bell went off. It wasn't like something crazy happened. It was just, wow, there it is. We made it. And I remember a couple years later, we were working. I was doing my stuff. We moved back to California, bought a nice house in Northern California, started establishing our life. And I remember thinking, wow, we made $1 million this year. And I remember it was kind of like a dream. It's kind of like, wow, is this really real? I mean, there I was looking up this mountain at $100,000 a year. We passed it the second year, and now a couple years later, I'm doing 7 figures from the comfort of my own home, playing with my kids most of the time. And so I look at that and I was like, what would it have been like if someone took my dream, or I let someone get in the way, or I let someone say, you can't, you won't, you're not? And what would it be like if I did that? What would it be like if I got stuck in info overload and not making a decision? Because I got to tell you, when I find markets to go into, It's a decision. It's a split second decision. Like the morning I woke up, I remember it. I woke up one morning and I used to like to get up really early and I would work before the kids got up. It's summertime, the kids were out of school, and I'm like, hey, if I can get all my work done before noon, or 10 or whatever, I get up, make some pancakes for the kids, hang out with them all day, and then do a little bit of work at night. And so I looked at it and I was like, all right, cool. And there I was up early, I was on the couch. It's our old green couch, big, huge couch. And my dog was sitting next to me, and I had my cup of coffee. And I found this market online, and I was like, wow, okay, there's like a shit ton of people looking up tattoo designs on the internet. And I was like, man, what the hell can I do with tattoo designs? And I remember talking to my friends, and they were like, you can't make money in that market. There's no money in that market. No money, no money, no money. And I couldn't get free traffic for that market at the time. It was really competitive, so I knew I had to buy traffic. And I was like, man, people are saying I can't make money with this, but I think at 3 cents a click, I could probably make some money. And so I set up a site. I remember setting it up in 45 minutes before my coffee got cold, right? Coffee was still warm, drinking my coffee. I had my site set up, and I clicked the button to submit it to a pay-per-click search engine to get traffic. And I remember that day, I did my normal routine, made the kids breakfast, hung out, went in the pool. And I remember that day at night, I was checking my numbers, and I checked in on my little tattoo site, and I was like, wow, that stupid little site I set up in 45 minutes is now making $131 a day. It's like, wow, wait a minute. That's pretty cool. Like, here I was, like, not believing this would work, and now this stupid little site I set up is actually, like, making the average amount that Americans make from one site. And we got to look at this because the secret is that people are looking at money and they have this big idea and they have these big chains that are tied to it. And they're like, well, money's hard to get, or money's rigged, or there's never enough money. And we have all these beliefs about money when in actuality, there are people in this world that couldn't stop making money if they tried. Like I was reading an article last week about the richest man in the world and how he cut healthcare benefits for a lot of his employees. And I was reading about how it only takes him 6 hours to save up to be able to pay all those employees health insurance for a year. And then I went on later, and I think it was something like the guy makes $9 million a minute or something insane like that. I don't know the exact numbers. Probably not, probably not 9 million a minute. Maybe it's 9 million an hour or something like that. But we look at it, and I want you to imagine that. Like there's a guy on the internet who has a website, and there's a lot more to it, but it didn't start out that way. He didn't start out with 500,000 employees, but he started his little website, and now he's making $9 million an hour. Like every minute that you're sitting there stressing about $1,000 or $2,000 or buying a product, there's a guy out there making 9 million. Right? There's a guy out there who's doing it. There are people out there in our industry, in the affiliate marketing industry, making $1,000, $10,000, $100,000 a day. Right? Like literally. And I wouldn't believe it if I didn't see it. I remember when I first started and I looked at it, I had a friend of mine that wanted to learn marketing. And so he came up and he visited us for a week and we hung out and we talked marketing and everything like that. He went home and did what I taught him. And he started making like $2,000 a day. And it was very fast. It's kind of scary fast. It was like, whoa, dude, you'd like just left my house and now you're making $2,000 a day. And I remember a couple years later, he started to ramp it up even more. And he was telling me, he's like, dude, some days we do like $50,000 to $70,000 a day. Now, it wasn't all profit, but hey, I mean, even 10% profit of that is a freaking good living, right? And I think his profit margin was like 30 to 40%. And so we look at it and we're like, wow, this is actually out there, because the fact of the matter is, and we have to look at the fact. The fact is that right now, while you're sitting there worrying about what direction to take, while you're sitting there worrying about info overload and shiny object syndrome, right now there's 4 million people searching Google every minute. Every single minute, 4 million people are searching. Right now, there are people watching YouTube videos. Right this second. Hey, guess what? You are, because this is streamed on YouTube, right? Right now, there are things happening. Right now, people are buying things on Amazon. I think Amazon sells, like $1 million a minute or something, or I don't know what it is, some huge number. Um, and it's insane. And we got to look at that and be like, wait a minute. So my limiting beliefs about money, that it's not enough, that there's never enough, that it's hard to get, there's actually people out there that don't do a damn thing and they make money. Like, are you kidding me? Yeah, I'm not kidding you, right? There are people doing that. And the fact of the matter is what are you going to do to get what you want? What are you going to do to make it happen? And I think that the direction is what stops people, because they don't know to take the direction. They don't sit there like me and say, "Well, tattoos, I'm going to go for it." They sit there and they overanalyze and they say, "Tattoos, what about this? Marcus, this is a good niche. Are you sure it's a good niche? What do you think about this? What do you think about that?" Well, what I think you should do, I think you should take a leap of faith, and I think you should do it. Does that mean, whip out your credit card and risk $100,000 on traffic? No, it doesn't. Does that mean, like build the biggest, baddest, awesome website? No. What that means is start small. Start with something very small, a message to a market. Start to go to a market and say, I think these people will respond to this. And put it in front of them and look at what happens. Did it get traffic? Did the traffic buy? Did they not buy? Did they opt in? Did they not opt in? Did they click? Did they like your ad? It's very simple when you look at the process this way. And you get the limiting belief out there that it's not going to work, or it doesn't work, or it's only about the gurus, or it's only about this, or it's only about that. Because the fact of the matter is this stuff's going on anyway. There's someone making money online. Why not you? There are hundreds of thousands of bloggers and video people and lots of people that are out there making a very, very, very good living doing what you want to do. They're out there. They're doing it. Lots of people. They're just not on the news because the news is too focused on not newsworthy stuff. And so we got to look at that, and we got to focus, and we got to say, I'm willing to take a step in the right direction. And we have that info overload, and we have that fear. And what we need is something that's going to decide for us. We need something that's going to say, this is what you need to do. Here's the plan. Go do it. Okay. Now, it might not work out perfect. You might set it up and be like, well, nobody clicked on that. Okay. Well, let's rearrange it a little bit. Let's work this out. And I think if you do that, and you have your solid decision based on facts, based on this is the market, this is what people are doing, here's the money, this is what people are paying for, and you put those together and you're like, you know what, I'm going to go do this no matter what, I'm going to make it work no matter what, then it's all a matter of just taking the steps. And if you take the steps and you work on it and you focus, I think you're going to start to get where you want to go. And when we look at info overload and shiny object syndrome, I want to talk to you about something that I believe solves that for everything. So how many people online right now in the chat, go ahead and answer this question, are feeling info overload, or you feel that shiny object syndrome and it's bothering you, right? Type it in the box, say info overload or shiny object, or put them both, or whatever it is. And we're going to solve that problem. I'm going to show you how to get away from that once and for all. All right, Kevin, thanks. Anxiety, Wes. All right, yeah, a lot of people struggling with info overload. Now, I'm going to show you the solution to info overload and shiny object syndrome. This is a solution I've been doing for years, and it works every single time. No matter who you are, no matter what you do, this works. Why? Because it takes all the cards and puts them on the table and says, this is what you need to do. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to talk about taking a step in the right direction. And a quote from Jim Rohn is, don't wish it was easier, wish you were better. Don't wish it was easier, wish you were better. So let's look at this. The solution to info overload is finding the right niche market. Plain and simple. If you have info overload, it's because you don't have the right niche, or you don't believe in your niche, or you haven't made a decision on the direction you want to go. So what I've been doing for the last few years is taking students and actually giving them a niche, right? It's a very cool process where we go through and I say, come on in. They sign up and they say, I'm interested in fishing, I'm interested in mortgages, and I know a lot about, dental insurance. And what I do is I take those things and I run them through my keyword process, which if you guys have been watching my video more than 5 minutes, you know that I'm really good at finding markets and really good at doing my keyword process. And so what I do is I take those things and I try to find them the best niche based on whatever it is they put in the box, right? And they come to me and I'm like, okay, I found you one for dental insurance. And I come back to them and I say, I got you one for dental insurance. And they say, yeah, I like that one. Let's go with it. And then what I do is I literally take and get them a domain name that's very valuable, right? So I take a lot of the decisions that are struggling, that are keeping you stuck, and I answer them for you, right? So first of all, I find you a market that I know will work. This is a market that I'm like, dude, if you do this, it'll work. Then once you say you like the market, I get you a domain name. Some of the domains you can see in the box below. You can see the values are very good. There's one for 905, one for 926, and on we go, right? So we find you a good value domain name, and I buy you the domain name, and I give it to you. In addition to that, I also do your keyword research, and I give you keyword loaded content. So we have some content written. It's not the best content, but it's starter content to get you going so you can jog your memory and kind of build from that. So we get you the content. We get you your domain, your niche, your content. We set up a custom blog theme, right? So we build the blog for you so that you don't have any questions about how I should build the blog, what platform, ClickFunnels, click this, click that, build this, build that, right? We make it the way it works. We're like, here's your blog. We set it up. We put our plugins on it. All the tools that I use on my blogs are the ones that you get on your blogs. The same exact ones that run my business are the ones that will run your business. So we put those on there. Next, what I do is I give you offer selection and guidance. So I go through and I'm like, hey, here's the offers you want to run for your market, right? So notice that info overload is all about the decisions. And what I do is I take that out of the equation. I'm like, you don't need to make these decisions. I'm going to make them for you and with you. And I'm going to make them based on 20 years of experience, based on what I think it's going to work. So like Lawrence says, I'm almost 70 and I've chased shiny object for 20 years. Imagine if you were like me 20 years ago and you said, I'm not going to chase shiny object. I'm going to do the work. I'm going to do the work. And 20 years ago, if I kept chasing shiny objects, I wouldn't be anywhere now. I'd probably be in the audience saying, I've been chasing this forever. But instead, what I did is I made a decision and I said, I'm going to go with this niche. I'm going to make it work. I'm going to do what I need to do and make it work. So when we do the offer selection and guidance, what I do is I go to the places where I find my affiliate offers and I find offers that I know will work for you. I've been doing this a long time. That morning I sat down and made the tattoo site. I knew beyond a shadow of a doubt, if I could get the traffic dialed in right, it would work. And I got the traffic dialed in right and it freaking worked. And what we're going to do is we're going to make this work for you to where it's like, I know that if you get these pieces correct and you work at it and you get traffic the way that I teach you, I actually give you a traffic plan and I say, do this, 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 and this, and get your traffic, put these offers here, set this up. I'm actually going to go in and I'm going to solve the problem for you, right? And so instead of going out there and saying, well, with my limited beliefs and my limited thoughts, I'm going to find a niche, right? I actually go out there and I say, this is what you're going to do. And we focus on that because I know that these things will work. And again, disclaimer, there's a chance that things may or may not work. So we got to look at that. But when I do these, I know that the numbers work. I do the numbers for you and I select the stuff for you. So we're going to give you offer selection and guidance. I'm going to find you the offers that I know will convert and I'm going to give you those and you're going to put them on your site and you're going to run it and you'll be like, Marcus, here's what happened in the test. And you get the help that you need. We're also going to give you a traffic guide. So I go through and I'm like, here's how you would get traffic, right? And I know how to get traffic. I've gotten a lot of traffic on my websites. I've gotten hundreds of millions of free visitors, hundreds of millions of paid visitors. And guess what? All of it was profitable. Every damn bit of it. And so I'm going to show you how to do that. Whether you want free traffic or paid traffic, we're going to get you a plan for you. In addition to that, I'm going to give you an ad writing class and a banner class. We're going to teach you how to write ads and make banners. We're also going to give you the Simple Sites Anniversary Edition and 90 days coaching to help you get what you need. So as you guys see, the problem here is info overload and shiny object. And this is not another shiny object. This is not shiny, right? A lot of people get it and they're like, wow, that's not shiny at all. It's actually incredibly freaking practical. And so what we're going to do is we're going to set this up for you and we're going to take the decisions because your problem right now is the inability to decide. That's what it is. Like, I know I've been doing this a long time. There's no such thing as info overload. There's decision overload. And it's a lack of being able to decide. So take that off the table and ask yourself what it would be worth, like Lawrence, after 20 years to finally get it. To finally be like, this is my direction. Here's where I'm going. What would that feel like to you to finally know? And I'll remember what it felt like for me. It was a lot like that second year where I made $167,000. And I was looking at it and I was like, I know what this feels like. And it wasn't what I thought it would look like. I thought it was going to be some big thing, and tambourine players were going to come in my office and be like, "Marcus made the money, yay, yay, yay!" But it wasn't. It was very quiet, and it was like, "Holy shit, that site worked." And I remember the first time I came across a niche, the smiley face niche, and it was a difficult niche for me. Not because it was difficult, it was actually incredibly easy. I remember the day I set up 10 web pages, got ranked in the search engines, and overnight I was making $300 a day. And I was like, wow, did I just seriously make an extra $120,000 a year off this stupid idea? Yeah, I think I did. And I remember later I went to get more traffic, and we started making $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a day on the same niche. And I remember feeling like it wasn't real. Like it was just money going in my bank account. It wasn't some grand, crazy thing. I was just like, wow, it worked. Why did it work? I knew the niche, I knew the offer, and I made a decision. So the question is if you don't know the niche, you don't know your offer, and you have decision overload, or you're not sure of your niche and you're not sure of your offer, get a high ticket niche and let me help you with that. You can get it at highticketniches.com. You guys could see the value of all this stuff. It's very practical. It's very simple. And it is by far, hands down, the best way to get started. You could try other things. You could look at Shopify. You could look at this. You could look at that. And I'm sure they're good. Some things are good. But no one's going to come in and say, this is your plan. This is your plan. This is what you're going to do. No one's going to come alongside you and say, well, what kind of niches do you want to be in? Okay, let's put you in this one, and here's why. Here's why it's going to work. Right? No one does that. Until now. And I've been doing the high ticket niches for a long time. We've had a lot of successful students. We had a lot of people who actually get it and don't do anything with it. Unfortunately, that's just par for the course. It's like people who buy diets and, go to the McDonald's. It's like, you can't lose weight at the McDonald's, right? And so we look at it and we're like, let's focus and let's make it work. And let's really dive in and let's say, this is the direction I'm going to take. And if you don't want info overload and you're tired of feeling worn down and worn out from all the options and all the info and all the stuff you're hearing, I don't know where you're at. You watch video after video after video and you try to find ways to make it work and you get more overwhelmed than you were before. And it's not really about the overwhelm, it's about the decision. And the decision is, are you going to find the right niche? Now, on this call, I'm actually going to do a special bonus that's going to make this even better. And I'm actually going to buy you 2 domains. Okay, we're going to set you up one site, and I'm going to get you 2 domains. That way you have double value, and that way you have 2 domains that are worth more than you are investing in the program, according to GoDaddy, right? I mean, I don't know if you'll be able to sell them for it, but hey, according to GoDaddy, they're worth a lot. So if I can get you 2 domains that are worth more than you invest and you own them and you can go sell them, I think that's a much fairer deal for you than it is for me. I mean, sure, I do make out pretty good on the deal, right? Obviously, I'm a businessman, and that's why we're here. But I think you're going to end up way better than just floundering around, right? So you could actually go, and if you want to get started with this, like I know you do, you just want to go over to highticketniches.com. Okay, you're going to fill out this form. It's going to take you to the form here. It's going to show you what you're getting, okay? It's going to show you what you're getting. It's got the little ticker that shows the recent values of domains that I've gotten for people. And you're just going to go in here. There's a payment plan and there's a full plan. You save some money if you do the payment plan, but either way, it's the same. Like you don't have to wait longer or anything like that if you do a payment plan. So what you're going to do, you're going to see all your bonuses over here. You're going to put your first name, your last name, your best email. Make sure you use a good email because that's where I'm going to contact you. Then we're going to do billing address, city, state, zip. Choose your card. We take all of them. Put your number, all this info here. You guys could see it's a super secure site. Really cool. Choose your pay plan. Obviously, because you're getting domains, you're getting a site, you're getting personal help, you're getting everything. It is a non-refundable program. Now, there is one guarantee that I give you, and the guarantee I give you is that if your first niche does not work because of the niche, like if I give you a niche and for whatever reason it just doesn't work anymore because of the niche, I'll give you another one, right? That's within a year. You have one chance to get it. I've been doing this for 7 years now, and I've done that twice, Two times I picked a niche that was like, maybe it was tied to a news event and the traffic went away, or maybe it was just, I think the last one was just a guy, he just didn't want to do his niche anymore, so we got him a different one. Um, but I think it really will work if you work it. And I think if you focus and you get rid of the info overload by signing up today and getting your 90-day coaching, I think it's really going to help you out. And it's not like another course. It's not like another shiny object. This is something where you are going to walk away with something you can actually do, something you can actually make happen, something you can go out there and have a plan to say, now I know what I need to do every day to get where I want to go. You guys could see testimonials from lots of different people. We got video testimonials. We got text testimonials. This guy here was like, hey, dude, I was struggling. I bought your course. And now he's full-time, right? He's making like $30,000 to $60,000 a month full-time. Again, results not typical, implied, or guaranteed. But I have taught a lot of people to make a lot of money. And it all has to do with making the decision and letting me make it for you. And you have to ask yourself, was it worth it to them? Because a lot of you guys are going to look at this and be like, wow, do I want to spend the money? And look at it this way. I never look at it as spending the money. When I bought that course that was $2,000 and I was a little unsure about it, I'm like, you know what? If anything, I'm just going to learn from the way he got me to buy something. And so I went in there and I was like, let's do it. And, thankfully the course was pretty damn good and it fit what I needed. And I was able to make money off of it. And to this date, it's probably been worth over seven figures to me, what I've learned. But the fact of the matter is I had to do it. I had to take my decision. And the fact of the matter is I wouldn't have bought that course if I didn't know where I was already, right? It was about email marketing. And I was like, yeah, I need to up my email marketing game because now I have a list and now I need to do this. And once you get this, it's going to solve info overload because now you're going to be like, well, I have my niche. This product looks good, but does it fit what I want to do with my niche? Well, no, it doesn't. Well, then it's probably not what you need, right? Very, very important. So you got to ask yourself, what's it worth to them? What was it worth to me? And what is your time worth? Very important. Highticketniches.com is the best way to get started. You just sign up there and you're like, Marcus, let's do it. And I want you to realize that in this program, we're going to hold your hand every step of the way. We're going to show you all the ins and the outs. We're going to show you a huge upside with very little potential downside, show you how incredibly easy it is to get started with this in-depth training program that is like a long-term relationship between you and me getting where you want to go. And it's a surefire paint by numbers system. Some of the paint might not match right away, but you're going to get in there and you're going to do it, and we're going to help you make it work. And I got to tell you, it's not glamorous. It's not glitzy. It just is what it is. And for me, it wasn't glamoury. It was just like, wow, now there's a bunch of money in the bank. There used to be not. Now there is. And I thought it was pretty cool. And all I ask is that you give me a shot to give you the niche that I know will help you and to look at the biggest regret. Because the biggest regret my students have is that they didn't call me 6 months ago and get started then. And if this sounds fair enough, I think you got to look at this and really focus because once this transaction's done, after taxes and fees and everything, I barely can get like a basket of groceries, right? It's not making me rich here, but I think it might change your life if you actually do it. And if this idea makes sense to you and you say, I'm done struggling, I'm done with info overload, I'm done with shiny object syndrome, I want to get something that's going to get me farther than where I am right now. Not just a course to put on a bookshelf or more info to crowd my brain, but something that's actually going to get me where I want to go. And if that sounds like you and you're done feeling the way you felt and you're ready to make a change, go over to highticketniches.com, fill out this form and say, yes, Marcus, I want to do this. After you fill out this form, I want you to go to pcmoneymaking.com and just put in a ticket that says, hey, I'm ready for my high ticket niche. You go submit a ticket, you go high ticket niches, and then you just put this info here. It'll ask you some questions, and that's your communication with us. And I'm going to read that, and I'm going to be like, okay, this is what he wants. Or maybe you just want me to pick a niche out of the blue. Maybe you don't know what you want to do, and you just want me to pick. I can do that as well, and you tell me on that form. And this is like filling out this form here is like us shaking hands and saying, yes, let's work together. I want to help you. I want to make it work. I want to get you out of info overload and into where you need to be. And I think if you look at the value, I mean, with the extra domain, it's well over $4,000 value. And that's not value that I made up. Like the domains are actually valued by another company that I don't own. I wish I owned that company, but I don't. And a lot of this other stuff is actual prices based on what I sell this for right now. So I think once you get going, you'll be like, oh, wow, this is really going to work if I do it. And you can get it at highticketniches.com. So let's take some questions. First one is by Vernon. He says, "How long does it take to get the high ticket niche once I purchase?" Depends on our current workload and some other variables, but usually 2 to 3 weeks is about good. And if you guys join today, I'll try to get your domains in very soon. That way they can start on it right away and hopefully get you rocking and rolling pretty quick and everything like that. So any questions? What'd you guys think about this webinar? Did it help you with info overload? Is it helping you understand where to go, what to do? If it is, let me know, because we want to do what helps you best. All right, so let's take some questions here. Unless I put everyone to sleep, which I don't think I did. All right, so questions. And again, that's at highticketniches.com. Jason says, "Hi, Marcus. You give good value. Shiny overload is a real thing. Absolutely. Glad you liked the training." All right. Any other questions? Let me know. What do I do on the back end of my websites? It depends on the website. Some of them I have affiliate offers. Some of them I have a list. Some of them I have like a product sales funnel. And we'll help you with that in the high ticket niche one. We'll show you the back end of what yours is going to look like. How do you feel your methods would work in mixed martial arts niche? That's a good niche. It would take some work. The high ticket niches would be the best way, because what I would do is I would find you a back door into that niche and get in there. Okay. Aran, glad you got the hub site. That's good. Keep following the videos. If you can't afford the high ticket niches, I understand that. If you can do it, like, there's obviously no reason not to. But what I would say, Aran, is watch some of my other videos. Like I did a video yesterday that'll help you. It's about instant PayPal money. I think you'll like that one. And then you could use that to save up. McGriddle, is there an upgrade option to high ticket niche? Yes, there is. What I want you to do, if you're looking for an upgrade, just go ahead and go to highticketniches.com, scroll to the bottom, click this live chat thing, and either myself, Tina, or Jackie, or Andy will answer you, and we'll get you that the upgrade link. Okay, so just do that now. That way we can get you in there now, and we'll get you that upgrade link. Okay, you always have great information. Thank you. High ticket niche blog. Do I need to write a blog? No, you don't. You do not need to write a blog in the traditional sense of blogging. VL says, I got a website, but I have not opened it to the public. I want to market products. My web is based around cancer survivors. Okay, that's going to be a tough one to get traffic to, but I can help you. What I would do is I'd get a high-ticket niche and then tell me about your niche. We'll set up a call. One of the bonuses we're doing this month, which is actually ending pretty soon because I can only do so many, is we're actually giving you a welcome call, which I didn't do before. So we're going to do like a 30-minute welcome call when you get your niche. And VL, after you sign up, get that welcome call and be like, Marcus, what would you do in this niche? And I'll drive you through it all. Same with the guy with the martial arts, right? On your thank you call, I'll give you the plan. And on the thank you call, you could say, hey, yeah, I want to do that plan, or maybe find a different angle or whatever. And we'll help you make it work, because I've been doing this 20 years. I kind of know what works, and I kind of know what's going to help. Right, so pretty cool. All right, again, that is highticketniches.com. You can get in there, and we can get you rocking and rolling. Also, hop on live chat, and let's talk about some other stuff. Like if you have any questions or you need help with stuff, let us know, and we'll definitely help you with it. Okay, Ivan. Marcus, bro, I like your term decision anxiety. Not sure if you stole it from someone, but it's good steal. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure someone else has said that. So, yeah. Aran says, thanks, Marcus. Literally no one believes in me besides my brother. Hope to succeed in this. Well, you got to believe in yourself, and you got to believe in the internet, right? Like, does it work? Like, there's like belief, and then there's There's silly belief, right? Silly belief is like, maybe one day I'll win the lotto. Good belief is like, well, people are making money online, so I know there's a way. I just need to figure out what they're doing. So that's something you got to look at too. All right. So if you do need the upgrade link, just hop over there and get us on live chat, and we'll help you from there and get you upgraded. And yeah. All right, cool. Any other questions on info overload? Okay, so let's take some questions. Never got the notes from the other webinar where you had us go to live chat. As long as you're opted in at downloadmynotes.com, you'll get notes when they come out for whichever video. Sometimes they take a little bit longer, but we always put them up on that blog that it directs you to if you go to downloadmynotes.com. All right, guys, any other questions? Let me know. All right, guys, so cool. Yeah, let's end info overload once and for all. Hop over to highticketniches.com, fill out the form, and click the button. And as you click the button, say, you know what, Market's going to find my niche, and I'm not going to have info overload anymore. And we'll help you guys get rocking and rolling. Really, really cool. Patrick says, I've just gone through a business separation and left me in debt. Well, this stuff happens. I mean, you just have to get in there and do it. Vernon says, huge fear. I'm throwing myself completely into this, and I know nothing about marketing. So I'll need a bunch of hand-holding. Yeah, Vernon, get a high-ticket niche. That'll totally get you where you need to go. Kevin says, just curious if you have students that have purchased and worked it and then flipped the sites. I'm sure we have, but a lot of people don't tell me what they do. They just do it. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. Okay. Cool. Let's see what we got here. All right, cool. Vernon got a high-ticket niche. Good. Is there a better way to get better at finding a niche? Yeah, Iran, watch my videos on niche finding. I think that'll help you quite a bit. All right, any other question? Let's see. I find the most important part of the high ticket niche is marketing. Yep, and that's why we give you a full marketing plan with it. All right, so I think we're pretty good. If you guys have questions, let us know, and we'll get you on live chat. We'll be hanging out on live chat, and we'll make it work. Thanks again for watching. See you in the next training. Make sure you subscribe and click the bell, and hop over to highticketniches.com and say hi. Thanks for watching.